also cashing in now on this spooky jewelry trend. I didn't know it was one, did you?
Well, it's a good idea because people spend a lot of money on Halloween.
The average person in the U.S. spends $86 on Halloween stuff.
Yeah, so that's their...
I'm spending $0.
You didn't even buy any candy?
People, no.
You don't get trick-or-treaters
No.
in your neighborhood?
No, they know better. Not that guy back in the corner. Stay away from him. All right, that's our time for now. Be careful in the mornings. It's going to be a little snowy out there. We'll see you back here again tomorrow for our Halloween special. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.
Right now at 5, delays continue to hamper a major bridge project in downtown Janesville, but can anything be done about it?
And why companies, not just residents, are expressing concern about a wheel tax coming to Madison in the upcoming year. We'll tell you why.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
And thanks for staying with News 3 Now. The fall weather, well, that wasn't very long, was it? Nope. Fall kind of came with. The second snow system now could be heading our way. Chief
Meteorologist Gary Canalti is on the weather patio. It's going to be a cold, snowy, and windy Halloween. Hi, Gary.
Hi. You know, I'm just starting to see the first couple of flakes fall here in the backyard. We'll see the snow pick up in intensity overnight. In fact, you can see it on Doppler track moving in from the west. So if it's not snowing where you are, it'll be snowing in the next couple of hours. Lower the visibility, the heavier the snow. Visibility down to 1.25 miles in Dubuque, Iowa. So that band of heavier snow about ready to move into southern Grant County. Heaviest snowfall, about 1 to 4 inches expected tomorrow. Most of it should be over with by this time, with perhaps a little more than 4 inches over parts of southeastern Wisconsin down towards Janesville and east toward Jefferson. But otherwise, look for skies to be cloudy. We'll see light snow overnight. It'll continue into tomorrow. By the time the trick-or-treaters head out, most of the snow should be over with, but it'll be a cold Halloween with a high temperature of 34. Later on, I'll take a look at when we can expect the snow to start and when it'll, more importantly, when it'll end.
All right, Gary, thank you. Drivers will have to wait even longer to use Janesville's Milwaukee Street Bridge.
Construction there is already months behind schedule. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with why the DOT says the deadline is moving further and further back. Adam?
Yeah, well, Eric and Susan, the state of Wisconsin's Department of Transportation says there's not much they can do to make this project go any faster than it already is. Well, the city of Janesville says in the meantime, they'll just have to make do.
Paul Woodard says he never saw it coming.
Yeah, we're hoping like late August.
Janesville's director of public works unable to do much himself in regards to the continued delay in the construction of the Milwaukee Street Bridge.
And the contractor ran some more delays and was looking at the end of October, and then we had those heavy rains in September.
The bridge connecting one side of Janesville to the other started construction more than a year ago. Today, the Wisconsin Department of Transportation says the state project won't be done anytime soon, with workers unable to continue until water along the Rock River goes down at least 1.5 inches.
Water rose substantially in the river to the flood stage, and then as a result, they're unable to get the barges underneath the bridge to pull out their false work that's supporting the concrete deck they poured in September.
In an email today, a DOT representative says it's unclear to determine when exactly the bridge will be finished, and that it's all dependent on if and when the water lets up. Now, the hope is that at least 1/2 of the bridge can open in time for winter.
And our preference would be is that once you get that part of the road project complete, that's part of the bridge project work, that they at least get one lane westbound open up. It relieves the traffic we're getting on other streets, primarily Court Street, but more importantly, provide better access to the businesses on the Milwaukee Street.
But even that is unsure.
Now, the company contracted to do this project, Zenith Tech, is facing $2,000 in fines for every day the bridge project goes unfinished. They did not respond for a request to comment today. The state of Wisconsin DOT is hopeful that the entire project could be done no matter what by next spring.
Adam Duxter in Janesville. Adam, thank you.
Sun Prairie police are still searching for a suspect after a shooting happened in an apartment building last night. Police said it happened in Arlington Apartments. That's on Schiller Street just before 7:30 last night. Officers found a 26-year-old man with a gunshot wound to his stomach area. He was taken to a local hospital, now said to be in stable condition. Neighbors say the police department quickly arrived at the scene.
I'd say that the police tend to have a pretty good response time out here.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
We have a very, very great department around here who's always good with the community and always quick to seem to respond to any situations that need. So I can appreciate that quite immensely, especially with my little guys and all the other little ones around here too.
Now, the suspect ran away before police got to the scene, but they believe it is an isolated incident and investigation is ongoing.
A Middleton man who was accused of sexually assaulting 2 children in a pool has been found guilty. The criminal complaint says 59-year-old Kevin Welton is accused of inappropriately touching 2 children in 2010 at the Harbor Athletic Club in Middleton. Welton admitted to groping one of the children. He was banned from the Harbor Athletic Club.
Multiple people are in jail in Lafayette County after 2 separate drug busts that happened in Belmont. Law enforcement conducted drug search warrants at 2 residents there. Officials say Dakota Soppy, Mackenzie Schrader, Cody Vondran, Faith Hoffman, and Rebecca Reekers were all arrested and could face multiple charges, including possession of drug paraphernalia. 2 other women are being referred to the Lafayette County District Attorney's Office for possible other charges. Police are searching for a suspect they believe is responsible for damaging electrical poles yesterday. This happened in Sharon, just east of Beloit. Police say they believe a semi-trailer traveling eastbound on Pleasant Street crashed into those poles.
In efforts to address racial disparities in Wisconsin, Democrats are pushing for the state to relax its, quote, antiquated drug laws.
And they unveiled a new plan today to decriminalize small amounts of marijuana. Rose Schmidt joins us to tell us about this proposal's opposition. Rose?
Democrats say marijuana decriminalization will open up opportunities for people with felony convictions and make so that the criminal justice system is more fair for people of color. Lawmakers and Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes announced a new bill at a news conference today that would decriminalize the possession of less than 28 grams of pot. But this is an idea that Republican leaders don't support. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos saying that possession is a federal crime, and in Wisconsin, whether to charge someone for possession is typically left up to local district attorneys.
It is absolutely wrong and disingenuous to continue this needless cycle of discriminatory enforcement of state laws that prop up the system of mass incarceration.
I don't know if it's right for us to make a policy decision statewide that using an illegal drug just simply becomes something now where it's not a serious crime.
Republican leaders killed Governor Tony Evers' plan to decriminalize marijuana possession earlier this year. On News 3 Now at 6, we'll hear from Dane County Sheriff Dave Mahoney on where he stands on this issue.
All right, look forward to that. Rose Schmidt reporting. Rose, thank you.
Thank you, Rose. State Representative Chris Taylor and Northside leaders are calling on the Air Force to release a new environmental impact statement about the F-35 fighter jets. Taylor held a news conference today to talk about what she learned during a fact-finding mission about the jets last week in Burlington, Vermont. She spoke with people who live there who say the noise from the jets forced them to move out of their homes. But Taylor says she did not hear the F-35s in person on her trip.
These jets have been placed in dense residential areas. So Burlington is a really good warning to us and a pretty good litmus test to see what the impact is for our own community.
Republican legislative leaders sent a letter to the U.S. Air Force Secretary yesterday highlighting the state legislature's support for the F-35s coming to Truax Field because they will create jobs and bring economic benefits statewide.
The wheel tax approved by Madison's Common Council last night will add a $40 registration fee annually for vehicle owners in the city.
As Madeline O'Neill tells us, this fee has some companies in Madison worried. Maddie?
Well, city documents show some vehicles are exempt from the wheel tax. That includes state-owned vehicles, buses, human service vehicles that transport the disabled and elderly. Now, that list doesn't include taxi cabs. Union Cab says as a part of the regional transportation system itself, it supports the rapid transit system. The money raised from the wheel tax will help fund. But with increased competition from Uber and Lyft and all the fees the company currently pays to stay licensed, the wheel tax just adds an extra strain.
It's going to affect any company that has a lot of vehicles that they're paying a wheel tax on. I mean, you know, 40 bucks a vehicle is 40 bucks a vehicle. Depending on how many vehicles you have, that can add up pretty quick. I mean, we got 60 of them, so that's a lot of 40 bucks.
Union Cab hopes the city will consider making taxis exempt from the fee. I also heard from Badger Cab and Madison Taxi. They both say that they'll take a hit from the added fee as well. Coming up at 6, we'll hear more from them as well as from those in the neighborhood. This bus rapid transit system is aiming to help.
We will see you at 6. Thank you, Maddie. Wisconsin has the widest achievement gap between black and white students of any state based on results of a test known as the nation's report card. That's according to the National Assessment of Educational Progress test results. Wisconsin Superintendent of Schools Carolyn Stanford Taylor says the achievement gap is a crisis and closing the gap is imperative for our state. The test was given to students in 4th and 8th grade last spring. Wisconsin scores were higher than the national averages in both grades.
The parent company of Miller Coors has announced a major revitalization plan. The company plans to drop Miller from its brand name along with the word brewing as it looks to expand beyond beer. It will now be known as Molson Coors Beverage Company with the official name change going into effect January 1st. The company will close its Denver office and make Chicago its North American commercial headquarters. It'll move all functional support roles to Milwaukee. The company will cut around 500 salaried employees outside of Milwaukee as a result, but there will be an undisclosed number of jobs added here in Wisconsin. Speaker Robin Vos offering the following statement on the changes. Quote, I would like to thank Miller Coors for expanding its workforce in Wisconsin and its continued commitment to the state. Governor Evers also should be commended for following through on income tax credits that Governor Walker and the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation authorized for the company in 2017. It's good to see the governor is beginning to understand the importance of providing incentives to help spur business and job growth. Willie Street Co-op being recognized for its inclusiveness when it comes to hiring employees. Governor Tony Evers has proclaimed October as Disability Employment Awareness Month. Today, Department of Workforce Development Secretary Caleb Frostman presented the co-op with the Exemplary Employer Award for demonstrating a strong commitment to recruiting and hiring job seekers with disabilities.
As a co-op, we're open to all. We want to be very inclusive, and so that extends, of course, to our hiring practices as well.
Now, dozens of companies around the state are receiving the Exemplary Employer Award, including Packer Fastener in Green Bay.
The Washington Nationals have forced a Game 7 with the Houston Astros tonight. The winner of the game tonight will be World Series champions. Max Scherzer is expected to take the mound tonight for the Nationals, and Zach Greinke is the probable pitcher for the Astros. The first pitch is set for 7:08 tonight. The game will be aired on Fox.
And Packers running back Aaron Jones is the NFC Offensive Player of the Week, a career-high 226 total yards, 2 touchdowns in the win over Kansas City Sunday night. The Packers now travel out west Sunday, take on the Los Angeles Chargers, and that game will start at 3:25 in the afternoon. It'll air right here on CBS.
The Wisconsin volleyball team is looking to keep a perfect conference record tonight as the Badgers host Maryland. They are currently 10-0 in conference play and 14-4 overall. The game will be played at the UW Fieldhouse at 7 o'clock tonight. You can also watch it on the Big Ten Network.
More to come on News 3 Now at 5. Up next, military leaders briefed Congress on the raid that killed an ISIS leader, why intelligence officials say the threat still remains.
And then coming up tonight at 6, the Wisconsin State Patrol is recognizing law enforcement officers from across the state. We'll introduce you to them coming up at 6.
And gains on Wall Street in midweek trading. The Dow up 115 points. The NASDAQ added 27. S&P 500 jumps 10. And we'll be right back. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill learned more today about the raid that killed an ISIS leader. Members of Congress were briefed by Pentagon officials behind closed doors on U.S. strategy in Syria and the weekend raid that killed ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. President Trump announced al-Baghdadi's top replacement was killed in a separate strike, but intelligence leaders warn ISIS remains a threat.
We know that ISIS has started to take advantage of using women in operational planning and trying to recruit youth more and more.
Officials expect ISIS will announce a new leader soon as U.S. lawmakers press the Trump administration for answers on the strategy in that region.
The full House is gearing up for a possible vote on Thursday on an impeachment resolution. Today, lawmakers debated a resolution to set guidelines for the next phase of the impeachment inquiry. Meanwhile, 2 more State Department officials faced congressional investigators. According to a prepared statement, Catherine Croft described an outside effort to remove then U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, Maria Yovanovitch. Senators grilled Deputy Secretary of State John Sullivan over the president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani's possible role in ousting Ambassador Yovanovitch.
You were aware that there were individuals and forces outside of the State Department seeking to smear Ambassador Yovanovitch, is that correct?
I was.
And did you know Mr. Giuliani was one of those people?
I believed he was, yes.
House committees have sent interview notices to 3 more officials, including former National Security Advisor John Bolton. Several House Democrats have indicated the first public impeachment hearings could begin in a few weeks.
A large wildfire broke out in Southern California today amid an extreme red flag warning. Flames threatened the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. That's in Simi Valley, California. The large brush fire started just before dawn and forced the evacuation of the complex as well as nearby homes. Helicopters are bringing water to the area, helping douse those flames around the site.
We had successful stands up there on protecting the library and the infrastructure around the facility.
In Northern California, flames from the massive fire up in Sonoma County were actually visible Tuesday night all the way over in San Francisco. That's 70 miles away, but crews are making progress there. That fire now said to be 30% contained as firefighters work through the night. More than 150,000 people have been displaced by the Kincaid fire. All right, so around here, of course, many will be sending their little ones out to trick or treat tomorrow. You know, Gary, the kids, they don't care. They'll deal with the snow, but a lot for parents to kind of be aware of what's going to happen with the weather tomorrow.
You know, I think most of the snow should be over with by this time, so the trick-or-treaters probably won't have any snow falling while they're out trick-or-treating, but it will be cold because we'll be adding to the snow that's on the ground, and it is moving in pretty steadily from the west now. We'll zoom into southern Wisconsin, and there is snow that is starting to push into southwestern Wisconsin. Visibility is down to 1.5 miles in Viroqua, 1.25 miles in Dubuque, so the lower the visibility, the heavier the snow. Just starting to reach Platteville with a 5-mile visibility. 6-mile visibility in Janesville right now, but not yet in the Madison area, just a couple of flakes. We do have winter weather advisories in effect for tonight and tomorrow. For Dane County and areas to the south and west, that runs from 10 p.m. tonight until noon tomorrow. For areas south and east of Madison, including Dodge, Jefferson, Rock, and Walworth County, that advisory starts at 10 p.m. but runs until 3 tomorrow afternoon. That's because the snow will linger a little bit longer into the eastern part of the state. That's why snow totals will be a little bit higher there. Farther to the south, advisories start at 7 p.m. and run into tomorrow afternoon. As far as future track is concerned, the snow will move in pretty steadily tonight. By tomorrow morning, this is 6:30, you can see some light snow over much of southern Wisconsin. But by noon, the back edge of the snow probably getting to Madison, and areas west of Madison probably will have seen the snow end by that point. So by the time we get to 4 p.m. when the trick-or-treaters are starting to head out, or just before that, much of the snow will be off to the east. There might still be a few flurries around, but all of the accumulating snow should be in southeastern Wisconsin and heading away from us. And then we'll look for clear skies tomorrow night, allowing temperatures to drop into the lower 30s with that fresh snow cover, and then look for some rain or drizzle chances or a little bit of flurries on Friday afternoon. Snowfall amounts right now, we're thinking around 4 inches or a little bit more from about Janesville and Jefferson eastward to just west of Milwaukee. The amounts will be a little bit less right along the Lake Michigan shoreline because temperatures will be a couple of degrees warmer there. The farther north and west you go from Madison, those amounts drop off. So we're thinking seeing 1 to 4 inches, probably around 3 inches in Madison, maybe an inch or two toward the Wisconsin River, and then west of there, probably very little in the way of accumulating snow. So we still have an alert day in the forecast for tomorrow for about 1 to 5 inches of snow. Again, the heaviest amount south and east of Madison, and it will be a wet and cold trick-or-treat day for Halloween. Live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. Looks like a little bit of snow falling there. WISC Skycam looking out toward the west. We've had just a few flakes here, really not being shown up too much on the camera there. And the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Don't see any falling snow there yet, but there could be a few flurries. High today, only 35 degrees. That's almost 20 degrees below average. Low temperature, 25. That's about 10 degrees below normal. And we're at 35 now with mostly cloudy skies. Winds are out of the north-northwest at 13 miles per hour. So our forecast for tonight calls for that winter weather advisory again from late tonight through tomorrow afternoon for Dane County and areas to the south and east. Look for mostly cloudy skies with snow developing overnight. Low temperature dropping to 28 degrees by morning. About 1 to 3 inches of accumulation by early tomorrow morning. And then most of the accumulating snow tomorrow morning, maybe an additional 1 to 3 inches. High temperature at 34. Again, total snow amounts 1 to 5 inches. Heaviest amounts south and east of Madison, probably toward Rock and Jefferson County. Less amounts farther to the north and west up toward the Dells. As we look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, temperatures are going to stay cold. With snow on the ground, we're not going to warm up any appreciable way. Maybe lower 40s by early next week. Some rain and snow shower chances Monday and light snow on Tuesday, and then even colder weather by the end of next week. As we take a look at first alert traffic right now, here's the view on the Beltline at Park Street. Traffic moving pretty slowly in both directions. It's not because of the snow. It's just because it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we have, or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we have delays right now eastbound from around Monona Drive back to Verona Road. Westbound delays start around Fish Hatchery Road and go back to around John Nolan Drive. As far as the travel times are concerned, right now about almost a half hour on the Beltline from University Avenue to the interstate, 23 minutes going back in the westbound direction. Heading down to Janesville, the usual 27 minutes from on I-39 from the Beltline down to Janesville, 22 minutes out to Sauk City on Highway 12, and 17 minutes to Sun Prairie on East Washington Avenue and US 151. That's your News 3 Now First Alert Traffic.
All right, thank you, Gary.
Still ahead on News 3 Now at 5. Halloween, of course, tomorrow. We'll tell you how much Americans spend during this holiday after a short break. All right, Halloween almost here. The race is on to get those last-minute items. The National Retail Federation says Americans will spend an average of $86 each on everything from costumes to candy. And of course, costumes aren't just for people anymore. Stores also have many options for pets. In fact, 29 million Americans are dressing up their pets this year. And yes, superheroes remain very popular for our four-legged friends. Political costumes, just one of the many Halloween purchases as well that people are making, with spending expected to hit nearly $9 billion this year.
Does Tate have a costume?
I do not dress my dog for Halloween. I know a lot of people do, though. They love it. And tomorrow on News 3 Now this morning, dangers that kids are facing on Halloween. Not really what they find in their baskets anymore. It's drivers on the roads, and we'll keep you tell you how to keep your kids safe while they're out trick-or-treating. That's tomorrow. News 3 Now this morning, that starts at 4:30.
Well, Halloween isn't even here yet, and retailers are already looking ahead to the next holiday. Overall, holiday sales are expected to rise nearly 5% compared to last year. Big sales mean good news for shoppers and businesses, but more than anything, it's promising for anyone looking for a part-time job. Many companies say you'll only need to work a day or two a week in the weeks leading up to and after the holidays, and there are also standard retail jobs available. This year, there is a huge surge in the need for delivery and packing workers.
They're looking at different methods to recruit. They're doing a lot more on social and digital and using mobile technology to try and outreach to people and make it super easy for people to apply and start right away.
Seasonal workers can also take advantage of added benefits like additional discounts, extra shopping days, and employee appreciation days.
All right, stay with us. We'll have another check of your trick-or-treating forecast in just a moment.
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, firefighters are battling to save the Reagan Library after an intense new wildfire erupts in Southern California. And the nation's highest military honor is awarded to a hero Green Beret who saved 4 of his fellow soldiers on the battlefield. We'll have those stories and more tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And the snow is moving in.
Yeah, we're seeing it on Doppler track right now. Pretty steady out to the west of us. Some of this may not yet be reaching the ground, but it's getting pretty close. At least there's some flurries out there. We have winter weather advisories in effect from tonight into tomorrow for Dane County and areas to the south and east where the heaviest snowfall is expected, around 4 inches or so around toward Janesville and areas to the east, lesser amounts north and west of Madison.
All right, stay tuned for the CBS Evening News.